I love shonen. The first animes I got into were battle shonen. Stories like Full Metal Alchemist, Blue Exorcist, and Attack on Titan had all reeled me into their worlds with their grand stories of adventure and fights. As I've gotten older, my love for shonen manga has only grown. It's a large part of my life, and I often find myself interacting with my favorite fan bases on sites like Tumblr and Instagram to see fan art and read about other people's ideas or interpretations of characters. So, when my professor in my English 101 class spoke about essays that we could pick up the topic on, I was thrilled. I wanted to write about shonen, but how? There were many routes I could go down. Character building, influence, cultural impact, narrative value. Within all these ideas, I landed on queerbaiting. Queerbaiting, to explain very briefly, is the act of writing characters with queer traits or with queer experiences as a way to appeal to queer audiences, but never committing to confirming their queer identities. It's a way to get queer people's attention, to have folks interact with shows, to make money, but it's not a good way to make representation. In the battle shonen community, something called unintentional queerbaiting can happen. To summarize very simply, this is queerbaiting that's caused by faulty character writing. Since shonen shows and mangas are primarily male-dominated, and many mangakas don't specialize in writing women or female experiences, it can feel as if male characters have deeper or more thought-out bonds than their female counterparts. This, in turn, sparks fan bases, mainly queer ones, to take these characters and interpret them as queer. The research part of this project was easier than I had expected it to be. I found just a handful of articles that covered the subject, but that's all I needed. They went into great lengths on covering the subject or subjects similar to shonen queerbaiting. I felt pretty motivated and wrote up my first essay with minimal hardships, but when the second essay rolled around, that momentum stopped in its tracks. With the shifting of the seasons, the readdressing of a topic I'd already covered in the essay above, and the election, I felt pretty unmotivated to do anything. It was rough, since I had all the parts laid out, but I just didn't want to pick it up. But the options to slack on work with a quarter system college don't necessarily go hand in hand, so I pushed on. I wrote my second essay, which for sure could have been done better, but I had done it. And even though by this point I had been dreading revisiting my work all over again, I looked back onto why this was all so important. I'm a queer, trans, and autistic Latino. Good representation for people like me comes far and few in between, especially in shonen battle manga. So the claiming of characters is really important to me. It makes me visible. It makes me feel real and seen. And most importantly, it makes me happy. To share even a fraction of that happiness, to tell others they can be seen too, that's what it was all about. So if you can't see yourself in the shows you love, just know you have the power to change that. You can make the characters you love reflect you. You can make them look like you, act like you, love like you, through art, through writing, through sharing your ideas with friends, through interacting in fan bases of the shows that you love. You can be seen.